While I know a lot of people will probably not think this is one of the better movies of the year, I definitely think it's one of the most fun viewing experiences I've had this year. And for anyone who may be unfamiliar, what Lisa Frankenstein is it's the directorial debut of Zelda Williams, Robin Williams' daughter. Incredibly interested in how her career turns out going forward. But regardless, what this one's about this angsty teen, this gothic girl. She has like no friends or anything, a loner. She reanimates this guy from the dead in kind of a romantic comedy in regards to the fact that they've brought this guy back from the dead and he's becoming more and more human. It's really a hybrid between Edward Scissorhands, Heathers, and Warm Bodies. Now, I knew I was going to love this film starting at the opening credits. If you know anything about my hobbies, like my interests, my preferences in art, you cannot pick an opening sequence that I would love more than this. It's absolutely perfect. It's got this black and white silhouette. It's introducing the characters. It's very Tim Burton-y, like a Corpse Bride feel. I absolutely love that aesthetic. I love Corpse Bride. I love Nightmare Before Christmas. They're two of my favorite movies. So seeing this as the opening, I was completely hooked into this movie within 30 seconds. It's wild to say that. You have this incredibly, like I said, Tim Burton-esque style to everything that's going on. It's got a lot of just vibrant colors in such a morbid environment. I absolutely love the contrast. I'm a huge fan of that aesthetic. It's definitely like one of my crutches. I love that morbid art style. Very macabre in general. It's got a lot of pinks, a lot of blues, a lot of neons. Everything about the way this movie's filmed worked for me. Again, as I said in the opener, it definitely makes me really interested in where Zelda Williams is going to go in her career, if she's going to stay in this style, deviate a bit. I personally would love if she went down the Tim Burton alley that she does in this film. We'll have to see where it goes regardless. I absolutely love this as a debut directorial thing. I'm also one of the people who definitely takes note of and really likes or dislikes music choices in films. And this is one of those ones where I definitely noticed it. And I loved it. I thought it was perfect. It's got this very weird, eerie, dreary, like violin. It almost feels like cemetery music to the entire film. Again, if you pair it with the aesthetic, it really does just feel like you're in a live action Disney movie of like Nightmare Before Christmas. It's a place I want to be in. It's an environment in a movie I want to watch every time. When you combined all of the elements of having this gothic aesthetic with 80s style, and you have this super weird premise of this angsty teenage girl reanimating this guy from the dead, it really did just take me back to a simpler time, a time I can respect, where we had simpler movies, didn't take themselves so seriously, horror comedies. Don't really need an incredibly deep metaphor to this one. It's just a movie you have fun with. Continuing on with things that resonate with me that I really enjoyed, it's the dry sense of humor that this film has. And if you know anything about me, again, I have an incredibly dry sense of humor. I've always been that way. It's how I tell jokes. That's just my sense of humor. So it's right up my alley. I don't think it's consistently hilarious or anything, but I definitely think it's consistently clever, which I respect more, honestly. I had an absolute blast in this one with the way the characters talk and the dialogue, the way it's written. I thought it was so witty and clever, and I definitely smirked and laughed a good number of times, especially at our main character, Lisa, her angsty teen humor. Like, there's a big joke going on that she wants this corpse to come back because she wants to be with him. So you think about it like, oh, you know, romantically, she wants to be with this guy. He comes back, and through facial expressions, he's kind of like, come on, like, I'm back. Like, what do you want? And she's like, I didn't want to be with you, like, romantically. I meant I wanted to be with you, like, dead in the ground. Life sucks, dude.
I have the cure. Ooh. Oh, no. It's not that kind of cure.
The main character, Lisa, in this really was a perfect combination for me, at least, of adorableness and also just downright weird, like creepy facial expressions and mannerisms.
They can't make you better. I mean, they can, but emotional.
I thought Kathryn Newton was awesome in this. I really couldn't picture anybody else playing Lisa after I watched her in this role. It was perfect. As weird as it is to say out loud too, I think Cole Sprouse as the Frankenstein figure in this is pretty dang good too, because he doesn't have any vocal lines. It's all facial expressions. Like, all he's doing is kind of grunting and doing body language, but he does progress as the movie goes on. He's starting to become like more alive, more human. And you actually feel that through his performance. And I don't know how they managed to do it, but I thought it was cool. It really reminded me of Warm Bodies. You know how like the guy's falling in love, he's becoming less of a zombie. That's really how this feels like. She's kind of getting him body parts, and the more body parts he's getting him, the more he's kind of becoming reanimated, becoming more human-like. I think he really sells you through his expressions. I thought the acting for his role, really good. The last of the honorable mentions for roles and characters that stuck out to me is the mom, played by Carla Gugino. She's just such a good actress. She has such a good sense of humor in this movie, her line delivery. She's playing this narcissistic mom. It's clear by her dialogue she's just a completely ruthless character. But this movie's sense of humor is so morbid. She's also listening to these books in her headphones of like how to become more empathetic to narcissists. So it's very self-aware of what a piece of shit her character is. I don't know, I had a lot of fun with her character. Thought she was very good in this. Her sense of humor is great. You know, the concept of bringing this guy back from the dead, it's just an absolutely ridiculous movie, and it does take a little bit of time to get into when you're meeting the characters, but it passed my test. I have two tests when I watch movies, the smile test and the phone test. As corny as that sounds, did I check my phone? And I didn't. I was never so bored with this movie, I started scrolling on my phone, so it passed that. And then if I say like a smile test or something like that, I was smirking and grinning the entire time, having fun with this. But even when it is building up, some people might find it a little bit slow getting into the central story, the jokes, the romance. I was never bored. I enjoyed it. Like, again, I was smirking, having a good time with it the entire time. You follow Lisa around and she's becoming friends with this Frankenstein-like creature she's reanimated. She's trying to get him human body parts to bring him back to life fully. Like, he doesn't have a hand, he's missing an ear. So she's basically killing the popular kids and the people that she doesn't like to bring him back to life. And it's all done in this very cartoony vein. So it never really feels heinous. Like, it could really easily slip over to it, just stays ridiculousness. And I really like that because it's very tonally consistent. Again, for some people, it could be over the top. For me, I just thought it was the right amount of funny, like cheesy element. I had a lot of fun with it. And as I stated in the opener, not that many movies take me back, like make me feel nostalgic or anything, but this is definitely one of them that did. I don't know what it was about it. I was just engrossed in the entire concept that it felt like the entire thing was taking place in Halloween Town, but it was live action. You're following this like coming of age horror comedy where these two are kind of falling for each other. They're getting back at the teens. You're having a lot of fun with the Frankenstein concept and some of the contrast between the characters. Like, he's literally dead, she's dead inside. They're reanimating his body parts through a tanning bed, like the way you vault Frankenstein back with electricity. She's using a tanning bed to fry this guy. It's like a sappy romantic comedy, but it never loses sense of the ridiculousness of the premise and goes full romance. In general, I'm a pretty big sap when it comes to romantic horror, if you consider that a genre. You know, I like a good rom-com. There's not that many good ones. They're usually pretty generic and lazy, so that's why I don't watch a lot of them. I avoid the mainstream one. But I do like a weird, like, macabre horror romantic story, like Corpse Bride, this. I'm just one of those people that always works for. I liked Warm Bodies. I like Nightmare Before Christmas. I like this. Use those movies as contrast, like Edward Scissorhands. You like any of the movies I've mentioned, you're probably going to really like this one. I think it's just hard to watch this one without having fun, being happy for these two, watching the goofy goth girl with her strange mannerisms fall for this weird Frankenstein creature. It won't work for a lot of people, probably not even the vast majority of people, but it worked greatly for me. I also really loved the ending of this film. I thought it was ridiculous, but I felt like it was the perfect way they could have ended it. You know, there's no other way they could have possibly chosen to. I feel like it's absolutely perfect for the tone they've set, the silliness they're going. Again, this is one that never loses the ridiculousness of it, so I understand why so many people will love this movie for years to come. This entire film for me really did just feel like a passion project, and it felt like whenever you're listening to a person talk to you about their passions, they're just ranting about something they love, and you kind of like see the light in their eyes where you're like, this person really cares about that. That's how it felt to watch this. It's what it feels like sometimes when I watch a film that's a passion project, where the film is the conversation they're having with me. I don't know. I didn't really expect going into this I was going to get as much out of it as I did. I thought it was genius. Like, I went into it, I was having a good time. It was fun. It was a feel good. But like towards the end of it, I thought it was incredibly touching. It was heartfelt. It was profound. I really liked this movie. It resonated with me. I can't wait to revisit this movie. This is a cult classic for me. I thought it was fucking awesome. Again, this is definitely one of those things where it's objective, like how good of a film is this really when people review this and rank it. But I didn't really care. I had such a blast with this. Isn't that what the point of a movie is? To have fun, enjoy it. That's what I got out of this. Like, this feels like it's going to be this generation's Edward Scissorhands. This is going to be around 5 to 10 years from now. It's going to be a cult classic. People are going to love it. I can't wait to revisit it. But did you guys see Lisa Frankenstein yet? And did you guys find this movie as nostalgic and as fun as I did? Comment down below, let me know. As always, if you haven't subscribed, what the hell are you waiting for? I do it all on this channel. I do new releases, scary stuff, tier list rankings. Join me down below. That's all I got in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.